Hello, so today we're going to be talking about some new releases in the year 2025. I've gone back and forth on if I want to continue to be doing new release videos every quarter like I did in 2024, and I've decided on in 2025 just doing two. One for talking about the first half of the year, and then halfway through the year I'll come in and do another video talking about the second half of the year. The reason for that is because I prefer for my TBR to be more focused on backlisted titles than trying to keep up with all the new releases. And so at least for the titles that I'm looking at, it's stuff that I'm really excited about and think that I will definitely get to without bogging down my reading plans every single month. So I think that that's probably going to be a good balance for me in 2025. We'll test it out. We might change it in 2026. Who knows? But this video is going to cover 6 books within the first 6 months of 2025. And by coincidence, I have a book for every month. I didn't mean it, but it made me so happy when I realized it. So getting into the new releases that I'm excited about for 2025, I'm not guaranteeing that I'll pick up each and every one of these, but I probably will pick up most of them. They're all ones that I at least intend to read at this point in filming. First book on the list is a nonfiction. It's called Realm of Ice and Sky. This will be released on January 28th, and it is going to be 384 pages. It's a thrilling narrative polar exploration via airship and men who sacrificed everything to make history. So in 2023, I read a nonfiction every single month, and I loved it, but I didn't carry that goal over into 2024, and I read far less nonfiction, as one might expect. I have the itch again. So in 2025, on my goals list is to read one nonfiction every quarter. This will be probably the one that I choose for the first quarter, unless something goes awry, unless somebody warns me, this is terrible, it's a terrible book, but it's my plan, and it's at the beginning of the quarter, so it's probably gonna happen. But I love survival and rescue nonfictions. It's my preferred nonfiction. It's what I usually reach for when I do, or pirate nonfictions, but usually these types of stories. I loved The Wager so much, and I think I read this last year. Yeah, because it was released last year. Anyway, I loved this book so much, as well as The Endurance. Oh my goodness. And The Endurance was also an Arctic survival story. And they were both favorites of mine. So as soon as I saw this book, I thought, oh, perfect. It's exactly the kind of survival / rescue story that I like reading, but it's Arctic, but from the place of an airship. That's not something I ever thought I would be reading, and yet here I am. Did I say from the perspective of the perspective as far as like, we're gonna be in the sky, not on the ground. The airship isn't sentient. Get it together, Murphy. Anyway, I plan on reading more nonfiction this year, and I'm very excited about it. So if you know what kind of nonfiction I like, or you just have heard what I just said just here, and you have any recommendations of a nonfiction that you really enjoyed, please put it in my comments, because I am not tapped into that side of the publishing world. It doesn't have to be a new release. I will check out what's recommended. The next book on my list is a new Hunger Games book. This one's supposed to be Haymitch's Hunger Games. We're going to read Haymitch's Hunger Games. I did not like the prequel, the last prequel we got, the snake one. This one, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I gave this 2 stars. But for me, as I'm sure is similar for many of you, I loved The Hunger Games so much when they were being released. I have read through that trilogy so many times. And while I wasn't excited about a President Snow prequel, I was happy to read whatever. And then I read it, and then I was like, I'm not gonna read any more Hunger Games books if more come out. But this is what I wanted A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes to be. But now I'm so far removed from the series that I just don't know that I would want to read The Hunger Games now, or even another version of it. I don't know. I feel like it would have to be written in a really specific way for me to really love it. So we'll just have to see, but I might read it. Next book on the list is Twist, a novel. This will be released March 25th, and it's 256 pages. It follows an Irish journalist who is assigned to cover the underwater cables that carry the world's information. So this is categorized as psychological fiction and literary fiction, and based on the description, it really sounds that way. It seems like it's going to be a very slow beginning that's more focused on people and lives than it is in some sort of big adventure. But essentially, the pipes that carry, I guess, all information, like all technological information, have broken. The sum of human existence, words, images, transactions, memes, voices, viruses travel through the tiny fiber optic tubes. Wow, she can talk today. So they broke. And now, after we've established a lot of relationships, according to the description, then our main character and one other character go down to the depths of the sea to try to fix this, but they end up learning information that could affect the entire world, and they have to figure out what to do about it. So it sounds like it's going to be a lot more of an introspective novel, not some big underwater adventure, but rather a dilemma of what choice do we make in this situation, which, going in with the right expectations, sounds like it could be pretty amazing. So I'm pretty excited about this one. Next book, A Drop of Corruption. This book is released on April 1 and it is 432 pages. This is a sequel to The Tainted Cup, which is a murder mystery slash bio sci-fi horror mystery. Not really horror, but you know, biopunk. There was a lot going on in this book, and I loved it. I loved it so much. I loved the characters, the Sherlock and Watson-esque duo that we got. I loved the technology. I loved the biological engineering and how plant life affected so much. I loved all of the world building things that were going on outside of our immediate environment that was really not fully explored, and I expect to be explored in the sequels. It did so much to make the world really atmospheric, but that wasn't the main focus. The main focus was on the characters and their mystery and them solving it. I don't even remember anything about the mystery, but I do remember the characters and their dynamic very, very well. So I'm just so excited for this sequel. I loved the first book. I'm considering possibly doing a vlog where I reread The Tainted Cup and talk about it thoroughly, so that it could also kind of be treated as a refresher for anyone that just wants to dive into book one, and then also coupled with that, reading through book two for the first time, so it could function as reading through book two together as well as a refresher on book one. I don't know how much interest there actually would be, how popular book two is going to be, but I'm considering doing it for me. I kind of want to do it. Oh, and then a bonus April book that I'm not necessarily interested in, but people might be. Emily Henry is also coming out with a book, April 22, Great Big Beautiful Life. I've read a few Emily Henry and she's very hit or miss for me, so I'm interested in this, but it'll just depend on if I'm in the mood for a romance in April or not. Okay, next book is The Devils. This will be released May 13th and it's 560 pages. This is Joe Abercrombie's next book. I don't know very much about this one other than I know Bookborn and Mike's Book Reviews both got an early copy of it and both loved it. So I mean, of course I'm gonna love it. Joe Abercrombie is one of my all-time favorite authors, and I'm a big fan of everything that he writes. But this one apparently leans a little bit more into Abercrombie's humor, which I'm pretty excited about as well. I'm pretty sure it's a standalone and it's not a part of the First Law world, so it's something that's going to be totally different from what I'm used to from him, and I can't wait. The final book is A Box Full of Murders. It says it's not available for purchase in my country, so I might have to wait until it's released and then get it from like a Books or book outlet, or I don't know, something. Or I might not have access to it. Like I may just not be able to read it. But this is a kids puzzle murder mystery. So I think the premise is that two siblings discover a mysterious notebook in their dad's attic and are instantly intrigued. Letters, diary entries, newspaper cuttings, secret recordings, all of this is within the book itself. And so the reader is encouraged to go through the clues and try to solve the mystery as well. So I'm not entirely sure, but I think it's essentially like a puzzle book, like solving the puzzle. And I just thought it would be something fun to do with my son. I thought he might like it. By the time this is released, he'll be 8, so he'll be just under the age range that it's published under, but he's, you know, if I work with him, I think it could be a fun project for us to do together. So we'll see if I can get my hands on it or not. Bonus mention, these books either don't have release dates or I just don't know them, but the sequel to The Will of the Many is also going to be released in 2025, The Strength of the Few, as well as supposedly the 3rd book in this series. I don't know what it's called, but The Rage of Dragons, Fires of Vengeance. I loved Rage of Dragons, and I really enjoyed Fires of Vengeance as well. I think it was 4 stars. I mean, I'm sorry, 5 stars, and then like 4.5 might have been what I rated them back in the day. But we haven't had any publishing news on this series in a long time, but supposedly we might be getting book 3 in 2025. I plan on reading most, if not all of these books, or at least trying them. And if you like, I can do another one of these videos halfway through the year so we can look at just the top most exciting books for the second half of the year, at least for me, that are on my radar. Maybe you'd like to put them on your radar too. Let me know if you plan on reading any of these books as well. Let me know if I put anything new on your list, or if you have books on your list that you think I should be aware of, the things that I didn't notice are coming out in the first half of 2025. Please do chat with me more in the comments. I'll see you again soon. Bye.